Welcome, everyone, to the Roots Podcast, where you can peel back the layers to find out who the speakers are behind their names, credentials, and organizations they work at. I am your host, Sean Pitcher. You can find me on Instagram at Sean_tactical_RD. Today's guest we have on is Matt Beard. He is the social media manager at Chinook Seedery. You may have not heard of them before, but you're not going to the last time you're going to hear of them. We're going to dive deep into seeds, what their company is all about, what they're currently doing in the athlete and tactical space, and just get to know everything and anything we can know about seeds. But Matt, appreciate you for coming on. Thank you.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So, can you give the viewers a little bit more information about who is Matt? What is your roots?
So I was born in New Hampshire, but raised here in East Tennessee. Grew up a huge Tigers fan. Nobody else in my family is an LSU fan, but dad's from Texas, so never had anybody tell me that I had to be a Tennessee fan around the house. So it was easy to be purple and gold. But played baseball my whole life. Uh, worked at Enterprise right out of college. After I got finished, fell into another job, doing logistics and shipping, and then kind of fell into working for Chinook, a sunflower seed company, because a couple of friends and we started a podcast and we're looking for free seeds. Got them within like the first week from this company, and then over the fast forward like 2 years, me and one of the other guys are working for them now. So it's been a lot of fun, and got back into baseball through sunflower seeds.
Is it not wild, just the power of social media, how it takes one post at one time, one specific person shares it, especially one that has a very large following, and how quickly it can massively
Wow,
explode out of nowhere.
it's wild. It's pretty crazy to see, and to see guys that we kind of interviewed early on when we did some podcasts. We started with Tennessee, obviously being right here, and having a couple guys that went to Tennessee, so it was easier. But getting to see them win a national championship is pretty cool, even though I'm a big Tigers fan. And I didn't like seeing it. Didn't like seeing it happen. So yeah.
You're 50. You could be like one of those mom and dads that has the 50-50 shirt.
Oh no
Like
no 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 no.
So how did Chinook Seedery start? Like I have, until not too long ago, like this is the first I've ever really heard of it. I mean, you hear a lot of those like bigger seed companies, but where did it all kind of begin?
So we're a very small team. Like count on your hands, small. The owner, Mark, is from Colorado, and he kind of started. He's been an entrepreneur here for a little while, and started looked into like a snack that was healthier and better for you, and found there's a better way to do sunflower seeds than the same old way that's been done for 100+ years. Um, and ran with it, and it's been around. He's started the company in 2015, and we've grown tremendously through just kind of grassroots ways of doing things. Kind of being in the background, like I was telling you earlier. We enjoy kind of always being there, but not being kind of heard, just kind of being seen. And it's been fun the last couple of years and getting to see it, and then now being joined on for the last couple months, getting to see it from that side. It's been fun, but it all started in Colorado with Mark, and now it's out of Austin, and with production in Tyler, Texas. So kind of operate out of the middle, and then work out.
So what would you say sets you guys apart, right? We know of the big C companies that are out there, right, that have been established for multiple years. And it's like any company that's kind of newer on the scene. What would you say is different from your seeds, your company, your brand, maybe in comparison to other brands that might be out there on the market?
So it's the health aspect from the very start. Like I said earlier, Mark was look for there's a better way to do sunflower seeds. Your typical big bag of seeds is going to have turn it over and look at the back, and you're going to see well over 200% of your daily value of sodium, and kind of all these unnatural ingredients. Our seeds are not that. It's a severely reduced sodium. Um, all natural ingredients, no GMO, no MSG, natural sea salt. at low amounts, as well as natural cane sugar for any that we have, like our cinnamon toast. And our original uses a little bit, but it's just a severely reduced sodium product that you can eat all day. I'm sure you've done it now that you've tried the seeds. You can kind of eat these seeds all
Oh, they
day.
were a big hit at the squadron.
Yeah, they're the better for you sunflower seed.
Hmm. Yeah, they got eaten up really quick, and I think we talked about this offline a little bit, but the big thing in the military tactical end is a lot of caffeine usage, a lot of nicotine usage, um, and I'm sure you being familiar with playing baseball, being a
Mhm.
coach, obviously seeds are a rite of passage when it comes to baseball. But having that challah or dip, or especially Zen now is the big craze, and being able to find an alternative option that you can be able to give somebody that's going to provide those, high quality, healthy fats, protein, a little bit of fiber, and then especially now it's super hot and humid, right?
Yeah,
So getting some extra sodium into these guys is going to be super important to help with that rapid rehydration. And you guys have a lot of flavors. Everyone's always about the flavors, so that plays that's a game changer too. And everyone always comes and like, oh, what flavor should I try? Which one is the best? I don't know. Just give them a try and talk to
yeah,
everybody else.
yeah. We wanted to try flavors that hadn't been done before. We didn't want to keep retreading the same tire. So there's 6 different flavors that have never been done on a seed before. So it's a lot of fun to kind of see what those changes have been, and what we can do in the future.
So I always like to wonder what goes behind like creating new flavors. Like, do you look at what's on the market and you're like, hey, these are flavors that aren't created, so like let's try these because they're different and it may cause more people to shift towards our way? Or do you guys do some kind of like sampling or tasting to get feedback from people and decide what flavors you're going to put on the market? Like, I guess what goes into that aspect?
So the flavoring, we've got a couple that we're kind of looking at, whether it's um, the biggest thing is trying to find those ingredients that we can put into the product to make, to still follow the guidelines that we have, with no MSG, no artificial dyes, no artificial sweeteners, all those things. So we've got to be careful about what flavors we look at, but we kind of assess them as a team. The most recent one that we kind of looked at was maybe the lemon pepper, but that's Bobby was a big part of that. He's part of the ownership group here at Chinook, so he definitely has a say in kind of what his flavor looks like. And so there's some changes coming for that in the future that we're looking at. That was a lot of fun. We tried as a team, and then basically we started with him and the Kansas City Royals, and and let them try all the potentials there. We haven't looked at a lot of new flavors recently, other than that one, and another one that might be a little bit of a Cajun flavor, just because it's so important that we kind of stick to what we do now, because we have 8 flavors. That's quite a bit of flavors. It's more than
Stick to the
most.
literal roots of what your whole goal is in the first
Exactly,
place, instead of
exactly.
having 50 flavors and then it's just like, all right, do we really need to have all this?
So we're very careful about kind of how we do that, but there is a process that just starts very internally.
And I think it's like a lot of times when we go into the grocery store, that's where it just gets so for as a consumer, right? Like I know a lot of the behind the scenes of what goes into
Too many
products, how to
options.
look at labels, different strategies that companies are trying to use to get you to buy products. And sometimes just the simpler the ingredients, the better. The simpler the branding, the better. And why do we need 7,000 options of yogurt or 100 different types of chips? You know what I'm
I was
saying?
looking
Like,
at something the other day, and there was somebody standing near me in the aisle, and I was looking for, I can't remember what product it was, but I was just, and the lady looked at me, I was like, there's too many options. I have no idea. I think it was like syrup or something. I was looking for like a maple syrup, and it was just, I have no idea.
and that's a lot of time when I take people grocery shopping, right? Like it's discerning, like, because they're just like, the always question is, what is the best? What is the highest quality? Look, which one should I choose? Which one is a really great product? Which is a lower quality product? A lot of
Yeah.
times when you don't have that background information, it just makes it such a challenge to know what decisions to make. I'm a big fan of Aldi's. Shout out to Aldi's. They make the shopping experience so simple and easy. There's not,
Yeah.
it's like a third of the size of your typical supermarket.
Streamline it.
It helps to keep the price down. Their workers know how to do every single job in that store, which also helps to keep the price down. It's like, why am I gonna go pay $300 at Publix when I can pay $120 at Alma's? It
Yeah.
just and I'm gonna go faster through the store and not have to be there for hours trying to figure out what to get.
Yeah, we try to make a list before we go because of that right there is to not, I don't want to spend any more time than I have to in what we're here to do.
I feel like when I first opened the box and I saw lemon pepper, and because I was in Atlanta for the last 2 years, and lemon pepper is a huge
Yeah,
chicken wing option. So I'm like, that's probably got a hit in Georgia for sure.
we kind of there's Brandon and I talk about it a few times about how outside of cinnamon toast, obviously, because it's such a unique flavor, if it's gonna be probably good on a chicken wing, it's probably gonna be good on a sunflower seed.
You ain't lying.
No, it's kind of interesting
I
that
mean,
way.
it's basically, dry rub spices,
We're
dry rub
kind of
spices
we're look,
on a seed.
we're looking at that too. Maybe there's an avenue there for that as well because the flavors are very good and they're very good for you. So
Mhm. Is there different type of sunflowers, different types of sunflower seeds? Like, is there small, medium, large, jumbo, big? Like what? Like, I guess discern that for me. What does that look like in the field of sunflower seeds?
sunflowers are grown kind of all around the world. Really, like Ukraine, South America, North America. They kind of are everywhere. We only source our sunflower seeds from the United States, and we source the largest sunflower seeds in the United States that you can get from a couple of states, depending on who had the best harvest that year. Between Kansas, North Dakota, South Dakota, uh, parts of Arizona, I believe. Just kind of depending on who had the best, and then we sourced only those, and then we send it to our factory and kind of do that proprietary blend and cooking process and baking process that goes into how we season and flavor our seeds. And then from there it's all out to the customer.
So, I mean, you mentioned a couple different parts of the country. Like you have the North and the Dakotas, and you have like the real hot in
Kansas as
like
well. Kansas
Kansas
as
and
well. Yeah.
Arizona. So I
Mhm.
guess does it really not matter what the temperature is or the type of soil? Like they can literally just grow everywhere, or do you find when you get seeds from different parts of the country, it provides a better product over other states?
So it's there's definitely a lot of water that is needed for the sunflower in general. So it's probably a rain situation because the Chinook winds or the warming winds of the west that would warm the water or the ice of the mountains that would come down and water the sunflower fields in Colorado, and that's kind of where the name actually comes from, is the Chinook wind. So the best kind of weather that you would imagine, I would for any type of flower, lots of water and lots of sunlight.
Again, simple process.
Yeah, keep it simple.
So with your job as a social media manager or manager of social media, like what does that consist of? Like what do you do on a daily basis with Chinook, with the company? Is it specifically just working on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn, a lot of those social sites, or is it social via working with the customers or probably or possibly practitioners? Like what does your day look like? Like what do you do with that?
You actually hit the nail on the head right there. It's kind of all those things, the customer side, because we do get a lot of, whether it's reviews or someone reaching out about an order. Sometimes the easiest way, especially nowadays with products, is to reach out on social media because someone like myself, especially for a small company, is kind of managing that personally. So you're actually talking to someone, so social media is definitely an avenue for that. I manage, as well as the Shopify reviews, going through customers, whether it's concessions for little league programs, or programs for the uh, for the sports programs, whether it's college or minor league with the sports dietitians as well. I help facilitate that as well. I kind of Swiss Army knife it as best I can explain it. In the social media, I work with content creators, whether it's kind of getting in contact with them and then putting them, giving them product to whatever they want to do with it. They can create we don't have too big of a leash on what we ask of our people. It's like we said, we like to be in the background, so you don't even have to really say our name. Um, you can just kind of wear the shirt or be eating the seeds or kind of however you feel, and keep it clean, keep it family friendly, and have fun with it. And that's kind of how I manage all of the social medias. And then, a big part that we're really stepping into that I've kind of real proud of is our LinkedIn presence, because that's a much different presence in the social media world than all the other ones. Because all the other ones are, there's a lot of humor, a lot of wittiness, a lot of oohs and ahs as far as pictures or videos are concerned. Whereas LinkedIn is kind of touching base with distributors and wholesalers, and not to say that you can't have fun there either, because you definitely want to.
But each kind of sphere has their different uniqueness to how you're messaging and
absolutely you're reaching a different part of that company when you're on that platform.
Yeah, one of the former strength coaches I used to work with at IMG Academy, who's now the director of sales at Connexon. One of the biggest things he would always say is like, what's going to make and break a company is customer service. He's like, if you can provide the best, highest quality customer service, respond back within the time you actually say you're going to respond back, answer fairly quickly. He's like, that's like the night and day difference of what's going to like float or sink a company. And one I can think off the top of my head was like Easy Cater. Like it's a company we used to like order meals from. They would answer their phone and one ring every single time, no matter what, every single time you called.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff as a practitioner we remember. And you're like, I'm gonna go back to X, Y, and Z company because the customer service was so great that even if I am unhappy or mad or something's going on with the product, like I know they're going to take care of it quickly, fast, and efficiently, and it's going to get resolved. And probably that next time if something does happen, or it may not happen again because they're going to be so on top of it.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I learned that with my first job out of college at Enterprise, was kind of the customer service aspect of it. So it's definitely served me well in this role and other roles that I've had.
Mm-hmm. So, what populations do you would say your biggest that you work with? Like, is it specifically baseball because C's are huge in baseball? Like, do you work with tactical military? I guess how has your presence working hand in hand with dietitians grown?
So it's grown so much in just the last year for, what we do. We work with over 120 professional sports organizations, whether through minor league, Major League Baseball, the NFL, the partnership with USA Baseball. It has been obviously baseball heavy is concerned, but because we're the only sunflower seed that's approved by the CPSDA, even though I think you said it's changed now here recently, correct?
Yeah, uh, CPSDA, APSDA. It's not the American because it was just collegiate, and obviously
Yeah.
there's lots of now divisions of
Yeah.
dietetics, whether it's going into tactical, D1, D2, D3 pro, Olympic. There's just so many spaces that we're in now that they wanted to be able to be more inclusive and obviously include more practitioners that would fit within kind of our environment.
So yeah, so being approved by them and having that credibility has helped tremendously in the sports world. And as you know, you've just alluded to it opening up to more people that will obviously be able to be available to them as well. Because we're trying to get into all avenues of not just baseball, but it's, our product. I'm a huge LSU fan in East Tennessee. A lot of these games start at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night. Sunflower seeds are a great way to stay awake, stay alert. So obviously, in the military and a place where there's not a lot of sleep, as we see on, whether it's movies or hear from our friends and family that are in the military, that, there's not a lot of sleep. So, having sunflower seeds would be a great way to stay alert and be active in what you're doing. And so that's important to us, to be so healthy in every aspect, that we're available to the people that we need to be available to.
Awesome. Have you found like with, the big issue we have a lot in the tactical space is Zen, Chew, energy drinks, right? And a lot of times that mouth feel of those things, what drives it to people. Or a lot of times, like you mentioned, right? A lot of times, our military population will be tired and exhausted because of, crazy sea schedules. Maybe they're underfueling, they're not getting enough fuel or carbohydrates in general. It could be a myriad of different factors that come up. But have you found by like talking to different practitioners in the tactical space, by integrating seeds has been a good way to reduce or substitute in, and you've seen kind of like a drop in some of those poor habits that we might see from your
Absolutely.
conversations?
Because a lot of the sports practitioners that we work with at the schools and stuff, they definitely want to see it um, removed from their athletes, especially at the baseball field, because that's as a baseball player myself, that's why my dad gave me sunflower seeds. He didn't want me to have a dip or a chew in my mouth because he knew, the ramifications later on that could be that. And I saw my friends do it. So it's been nice because I still filled a lot of responses from other people who are like, hey, I used to dip for 15 years. I've got your sunflower seeds. Now I don't dip anymore. I've
Mhm.
lowered my blood pressure, all these great things that you hear when you get rid of tobacco. So it's been nice to see stories like that from the sports world, whether it's our college athletes, professional athletes, especially in the NFL, which you don't think of sunflower seeds for NFL players, but we've been featured in Hard Knocks, kind of in the background, sunflower, eating in meetings and stuff like that. So it's
Mhm.
keeping keeping dip out of those guys' mouths, and being so healthy for you that they can do this instead.
So then do you guys get a lot of unique, I guess, opportunities then, like to do these organizations with professional, college, maybe minor league, do they tend to bring you in so you can kind of provide the products, or is it just like, hey, send me the products, we'll try them out. If we like them, then we'll get them. Like, how does that, I guess, that communication and process work back and forth between these different organizations to get your product out more into
So
those athletes?
the biggest stamp of approval that we have is all these professional sports organizations. They're buying our seeds. They're purchasing our product. This isn't a pay for play kind of thing where we're giving them seeds and they're giving us content or whatever the case may be. It's, those are all bought seeds from those teams. They just reached out, ordered them, and they continue to order them. So that's our biggest stamp of approval is they're buying our seeds from us.
Do you then see a reciprocation in a lot more like posting and sharing of your guys' product to then kind of build it up? Because I know we talked a little bit before we popped on. I'll say no, that's not your guys' objective, but obviously
Sure.
in the space of social media nowadays,
Yeah.
with that's sometimes how companies are building their business, like word of mouth, not face to face anymore. It's a lot of word of mouth via the social spaces, and that's where a lot of those transactions or opportunities or helping to develop and build the community that you want to build. That's the world that we're kind of living in now to be able to do that.
It definitely helps with local businesses around there, whether it's convenience stores, because we're in over 7,500 stores across the country. Um, so it helps in those, cities where you can be like, hey, we're the official sunflower seed of so and so, and we have these particular stores in this area, and our product's gonna be there already, and you can see it, with your fans, and they're gonna then purchase that product there.
And what does that process look like to get into stores? Like I've always wondered, like how does that work? Like let's say you have a Walmart or a Target, right? And you're a small company amongst all these big companies that are probably paying money to these companies to like keep their products front and
Yeah.
center. Because a lot of times when you step in, like if I go to Walmart, if I go to Publix or one of these big supermarket chains, right? A lot of these major companies are like, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount of money to have my product right in front so everyone can see it. How does that process work to even just get your product known or in the store to be able to be available to a larger population?
Yeah, I've gotten to sit in on a couple of those meetings, which is fun because they only happen every so often. So they have these times of the year that they kind of reset what they might have as far as their products are concerned. They go over the numbers. So that's kind of when a product can then move in to the shelf, but there's still, they want shelf space costs. There's costs that are involved there. But the best way that we've been able to do it is showing it through the sports organizations and those relationships, and then being at trade shows and kind of boots on the ground and meeting face to face with the people that we need to meet with and letting them try our product, and getting in front of them first so that it's not just some blind number or sheet looking at them when they go to replace things.
Do you find that like if a product isn't from those meetings you've been in, like if a product isn't doing very good and you're like, hey, we're not really selling this, then that provides, let's say, maybe some more of these newer up and coming companies the opportunity to almost kind of like slide in that spot, I guess. Is that what I'm kind of getting from it?
That's yeah, absolutely. Because the way that the world's going now is a very health conscious society that we live in. So there's opportunities everywhere for everybody, but your product has to be, it has to be what it is, the best, and that's what we have. So when you can prove that and show that your product is what it is, and you are health conscious and you're still a great product, then you definitely, it's like you said, it's you kind of wiggle yourself in there and find where you fit and get in there.
Yeah, and I think that's the scary thing is air quality is going down, water quality is going down. You know, people are moving to some of these lesser ingredients options that, don't have a bunch of additives in them that we don't know what they do. And,
Yep.
a lot of times with that as well, it's like, yeah, the FDA or whatever government organization can say these are okay in smaller amounts, but in reality, like if I'm eating a particular food product with small amounts in it every single day for months and years, that's going to add up because some of those additives like may store in your fat cells and
Yep.
may add up over time and cause long-term issues or concerns. So it's getting a little bit scary with our food options and how they're made and produced and sent out to the public.
What's
Um,
organic mean now? Yeah.
yeah, what does that even mean? Or grass fed? Like, did they eat grain for 90% of the time and then they grass fed it for 10% of the time? There's just
Did you
so
have
many little
cameras watching them eat all the grass? Just
there's just so many little tricks
yeah.
and then what they stick on the food, you hear glyphosates and all these things to try to kill certain bugs and kill certain weeds. It's just like it's even hard for a dietitian. Like, what should I buy at the store? Like, should
Makes
I
you want
be
to grow
like
a garden
cleaning
at home.
everything and with water and putting baking soda and like trying to kill stuff? Like, you almost just don't know.
I I do that at least. I do wash all my vegetables and stuff now for sure because of just stuff I've seen. Even if it's not true, I don't think washing my food is the worst thing either.
Yeah.
So at the very least, at least I'm cleaning something off, I think.
Yeah, and I know that's a little bit of a tangent, like so because I'm trying to shift now into like functional nutrition and trying to
Yeah.
find like what particular nutrients and foods can help try to get rid of some of those. And I hate using this word, but like toxins or chemicals or things that we're receiving from those air, water, and let's say what's getting on our food to hopefully try to reduce that risk, especially for our populations in the athletic and tactical space, try to reduce their long-term risks from certain concerns popping up. So just like all of us, right? So we can have a long, healthy life with our families, watch our kids grow up and not be broken and sick by like 50 years old.
Yes. I mean, simple ingredients, simpler product, and it's pretty simple. That's the best way to put it. If you can pronounce all the things that are in there and they're all natural, it's the best you can do. And it's a great product because it's the simplest thing to do is the sunflower seed. You crack a shell and you eat a kernel. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, there ain't much to it. But
Nope.
all right, some fun questions to kind of end this. Out of
Sure.
all your flavors that you have, what's your favorite flavor?
I get this question a lot, especially at trade shows, because it's like a two-part answer. So technically, the best flavor, my favorite flavor is jalapeno ranch. But if I was
Okay.
going to pick any sunflower seed to eat, it's the original. I'm just an original sunflower seed guy.
Going with the basic. That's how when I
Mhm.
go in. I'm from New York, so when it comes to Italian food or pizza, if I'm gonna go try pizza, like just give me a cheese pizza. If the cheese pizza's good and it's like an 8 out of 10 or better, I probably know the rest of the stuff is gonna be pretty killer.
Black coffee, original seeds. I'm good.
Yeah. um, what is your obviously you love LSU, but do you have a favorite MLB team that you like to
Houston
watch?
Astros. Houston Astros.
Without even question, that was
Oh yeah.
from the
Oh
jump.
yeah. Oh, big Astros fan. And I know there's gonna be a lot of hate because of the cheating and all that stuff. I don't care. Go Astros.
Well, let's be realistic. a lot of these schools and a lot of these teams, if you don't get caught.
You said it, and I love to hear it.
If you don't get caught, we don't want people to cheat, right? But let's just be real. That stuff happens behind the scenes. Do we have control of it? No, but it's just what I always call as the arms race. Everyone's trying to find that 1% to try to get light years ahead of everybody else out there, unfortunately.
We got pitch comm in Major League Baseball pretty quick, didn't we?
Yes.
Right after that.
Yes, we did. All right, last fun question. What is your favorite baseball park that you've ever been to?
Ooh, that's a good question.
There's too many of them.
Well, no, so up until last year, that answer would have been Rosenblatt in Omaha, because I got to go in 2000 and see the College World Series, and I actually got to see LSU play against Florida State in one of the round robin games. However, I did last year get to go to Alex Box for the first time. Not the original, but I did go to one last year, which they did win the national championship. So I got to see 3 games there. So I'd have to say Alex Box Stadium.
What makes a baseball experience one you won't forget? Like what is it, the stadium? Is it the players? Is it the food? Like what makes when you go to a stadium it stand apart from other places that you've been?
It was all those things you just said. So the food to start, it's especially at Alex Box, is the Cajun food. There's a thing called pastelaya there that was incredible. Then it's the fans. I mean, it's the original of the big boy college baseball stadiums. 10,000 people. And then I was lucky enough to see them when they were the #1 team in the country, so it was even more electric because baseball in Baton Rouge is as big, if not a little bit bigger, for certain reasons than even the football there. So getting to see 3 games there with packed stadium, great food, big stadium, and then getting to get in for free because we got media credentials through our podcast.
That always helps.
So that was icing on the cake, because then we got to park in the media parking lot that we didn't find out until like right before the first game. We're like, oh, we get to park here too. So we even got to park closer and not have to deal with
especially with how chaotic traffic and stuff gets. When you get that privilege, like it is absolute game changer.
Oh yeah. So that was.
Do you guys still do the podcast?
So I still operate that Twitter account as well, but we don't necessarily do the podcast anymore. There's other podcasts that we work with, and then with Chinook that we either sponsor or give seeds to and help facilitate that way, that do a lot of those interviews and stuff that we were doing. So I mean, you don't want to hear the same guy say the same thing. So we'll run. I'll still run the Twitter account and have fun and tweet out, and we like to be very witty and funny, obviously very clean. We're trying to be for everybody, but it's more of just trying to be the lighter side of baseball. I don't know if you remember that show. It was on Fox, but it was like on a Saturday morning, and it was like the lighter side of baseball, and they would show like the funny plays or the funny things that happened this week in baseball. So that's kind of our theme is, let's just have fun with it. So
that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you listened all the way through to this episode, there may be an opportunity for you to get some seeds. So make sure you're paying attention to social media, you're paying attention to our posts. There may be an opportunity for you to try all these delicious flavors that they have available to us. But again, really appreciate you, Matt, for coming on. What are probably the best, easiest places for people to be able to find you or Chinook Seedery to get the opportunity to try some of your seeds?
So right now, definitely through Amazon is the easiest way. We're doing some maintenance on our website right now. So normally I would say our website, but right now we're facilitating everything to Amazon. And then depending on where you're at located, we could be in a store near you. We're definitely strong in the Southwest and Southeast, and as well as the heartland of the United States. If you're in Tennessee or the Southeastern Conference, we like to say it's Buc-ee's. It's kind of the easiest way to find us.
If y'all are hearing this, you've never been to a Buc-ee's, that is an experience in its own.
Yeah. And then if you're in East Tennessee or Tennessee in general, we're in Food City in the produce section. So depending on where you're at, we might be in a store, but if, online definitely is the easiest way to get some.
Fantastic. And Amazon is everywhere and delivers everywhere. So that
That's
definitely
right.
won't be a problem to get your products out to.
That's right.
So yeah, to wrap this up, if you're an athlete, if you're a tactical athlete out there and you're looking for nutrition services and you need help with your fueling, your hydration, your sleep, don't be afraid to hit me up, DM me, look at my link that's on my Instagram page or my LinkedIn for any of those different services I can provide. Obviously, we're continuing to work with lots of different great companies like Chinook to provide you guys opportunities to some of the best, highest quality brands that are out there so that you can be able to experience it and then also be able to fuel at an extremely high level so you guys can perform and do the things that you need to do the most, especially from a tactical and military standpoint. It's been very gratifying being able to work with that population just so that our obviously we can do so many things here in the US because we have so many great people, men and women that are protecting us every day, going down range, doing things that we would never even possibly think of. So we can do fun things like this, like a podcast, eat seeds, and just enjoy the fun things in life. But again, Matt, thank you a lot. And everyone, make sure you continue to stay tuned to any possible posts that are coming up with Chinook and myself.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. So I'm going to call you real quick because this is going to end in 2 minutes.
Sounds good.